Hello there once again, and welcome to this mathematics class, proudly sponsored by AllThreeSchools JAMB app. Now, you should know already, AllThreeSchools JAMB app is an application which can be downloaded onto both your phones and your Android phones to be precise, and your laptops. Though, yes, the versions for iPhones is definitely coming out soon. Now, when you get this application, what does it do for you? Well, it offers you a wide variety of features, all targeted to ensure you get the best score you can in your JAMB. How does it do so? Well, this is all because of the features it has and how they can help a student as they prepare. Well, for one, anybody preparing to write JAMB ought to have his JAMB past questions. This app provides that for you. It has the past questions with the correct answers, and even better than that, it also has explanations within this app for each of the answers to the questions. So you don't just see the answer and then have to memorize it. It sees the answer and actually know why that answer is the right answer. So the app has the past questions, and then to make it better than just your physical past questions, it also has features which you cannot see on as you're away, your physical questions or in any other JAMB app. So these features are the mock exam mode. The mock exam mode here is quite special because not only can you see it the exact way you see on the day you go write your JAMB so you can practice, you can also manipulate it to fit you as you require. You can choose your subjects. You choose the subjects you want to write. You can choose the time. You could even choose the number of questions. And more interestingly, you can even choose the topic you want your questions to come out from. So not just are you saying your questions and the number, but you can try to decide, okay, today I want to learn this particular course. Like say, for example, like in this class, you'll be looking at bar charts and histograms. You could then decide you want to search for questions purely on histograms. You go straight to the app. When you are choosing your subject, you choose the particular topic you want. There's a list of all the mathematics topics there. You could choose the one you want, and then it will simply bring out questions for you pertaining purely to the topic of choice. So you can actually write exam on a single topic or a few topics that you have chosen and decided this is what I want to see how well I'm performing. You see, these are all wonderful features of the app which help you. And this does not even include the part where it provides you information on different schools, the courses they have to offer, the subjects required for those courses, and a lot more. Now, to get your app, you can download it. The app is available on Google Play Store, and you can also see the link in the description beneath this video. However, you also have to activate this app. Simply downloading and installing is not all. You must activate. The activation is actually quite cheap. Activation costs you the sum of 2,500 naira only. Very, very cheap and affordable. 2,500 naira, small of us can eat lunch, not our 3 meals in a day, just lunch. And I'm sure you could sacrifice one lunch to ensure you get a very good score in your JAMB. And if you were to buy your physical past questions, you realize that before buying the complete 4, you would have spent more than this amount of money. But yeah, you get access to not just your physical past questions, but CBT as well. You can try to practice the computer-based test with this app. Now, how do you pay this money? There are various places, various methods within the app. I think the app has 3 different methods. There's paying with Google Play. There's paying online, which means you'll be directed to Paystack, and you have to pay with your ATM card, your debit card. When you pay with that method, the app gets activated instantly. But you can also choose the third option, which is to buy activation PIN by transferring the money to the account number you will see within the app. You could transfer, go to the bank and deposit the money if you desire. You could use POS, any method at all. Simply get the money into that account and send your receipt to the number you shall see in the app as well. So send the receipt and another thing you are requested to send, I think, your product key of your app. Send it and you will receive your activation key and your app can be activated. So your AllThreeSchools JAMB app is very, very easy to use. Just get it, activate it, and I'll show you. You will come forward and give testimony about how this app helped you as you prepared. Anyway, now let's take a look at the topic of today. Now, in the previous lesson, we've covered pie charts. Now we are covering bar charts and histograms. Now, they all do the same purpose. They are all used to express information. When you have plenty of people doing something, a large number of subjects, for example, I want to find the number of students that offer those subjects. It is easier to represent this information in a diagram than writing them individually. A pie chart represents this information in a circle, which is then divided into sectors, and the angles determined based on the number of people or number of objects in a particular group. However, your bar charts and your histograms make use of blocks. They make use of solid blocks. So, what's the difference between this bar chart and histogram? Well, they both use blocks, but in a bar chart, each data can be represented separately, and there are spaces between the blocks. Say, for example, we are determining or we are representing something of this nature. This part of the bar chart is usually calibrated in numbers. While here we could say this is green, this is blue, and this is black. Well, let's say we are drawing this bar chart to represent number of, say, students in the class and the colors of their backpacks. So, numbers could be here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. How do I know the number of any individual? Simply trace the bar chart to that location. That means there are 3 students in that class with green backpacks. Now you can see there's a space between this bar and the next one. Then this could be traced to the appropriate number, which is 5, implying that there are 5 students in the class with blue backpacks. And this could also be traced to the appropriate number, which, I'm trying to make it enter 2, which would then be 2, implying that there are 2 students with black backpacks. So this is how a bar chart works. Separate bars. Each of them are individual. And it's used to try to present, most times, qualitative data. That means I'm presenting green, blue, black, yellow, or man, woman, child, or something along the lines of, qualitative data, not exactly numerical. When I want to represent numerical data and numbers, it is usually commonly used as histograms. That doesn't mean I can't use this too. For example, I could say these are those that are 20 years old, 30 years old, and 40 years old. Doesn't really matter. However, with a histogram, what I get are continuous bars without any real end. So they don't actually separate. There's no gap between them. They continue. So something like this is a histogram. And typically, the values are written at the margins, the edges here, and not the center. So like a bar chart where you write your values or what you're labeling at the center here, in a histogram, they're combined together and it's very written right here. So you could have 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and 6.5. That could be what I'm presenting on that histogram. So, however, the underlying difference, I'll repeat again, is that in a histogram, there are no spaces, but in a bar chart, there are spaces. But they do pretty much the same function. This one represents that those between 1.5 and 2.5 are a certain number, which is this. Between 2.5 and 3.5, a certain number, which is this, whatever it goes to. Because remember, this side will be calibrated in numbers. So that's the underlying difference. And what information can I get from this? I can always get the number of individuals in any particular group. So maybe I'm labeling it and checking where it reaches on the vertical side. But please don't forget, they could always bend it. It doesn't really change anything. If I decide to draw it like this, it doesn't much matter. All that would then happen is that I'll be calibrating on this side. So that's what we need to know for bar charts and histograms, and you shall be able to see more of how they are dealt with as we solve questions. So I would like you to now open your AllThreeSchools JAMB app so that we can begin to actually solve questions together. So simply opening mine, let's see what we have. My first question is brought to us from the year 2019, and this is model 2, question 36, only on your AllThreeSchools JAMB app. And what does it give me? Well, it has a histogram represented for me. I'm not going to draw it because it's quite stressful, but you can see it right here on your screen or on your AllThreeSchools JAMB app. 2019 model 2, question number 36. Now we are being told that this histogram represents the number of candidates who did further mathematics examination in a school. How many students scored more than 40? More than 40. I'm going for those who scored above 40. How do I find out that number? Very easy. On my histogram, I have to locate where 40 is. If you see that, that's on the fourth bar. The first one is 10, second is 20, third is 30, and the fourth is 40. Now the one those who scored above 40, greater than 40, so that's 50 and above. I'm going to start then from that 50 bar down to the ending. So counting from my 50 bar, I realized that at my 50 bar, I'm having 55 people. Then on my 60 bar, if I trace it, I should be having 45 people. Then as well, on my 70 bar, when I trace, I should be having 30 people. On my 80 bar tracing, I should be having 15 people. And on my 90 bar, I should be having about 5 people. So you see, all I'm doing is addition to find out how many of them scored more than 40. Well, 55 plus 45 is 100. 100 plus 30 is 130. Plus 15, 145. And plus 5, 150. And that is option C. You see, working with bar charts and histogram is truly very simple. You're solving this in just a few lines and you are done. Let's try our second question. I don't have to clean the board right now because I won't use more than a line to solve. But please note that this one is from the year 2007, question 3. So again, looking at the diagram from our AllThreeSchools JAMB app, we can see another histogram here. And this one we are told represents the weight of students who traveled out of their school for an examination. How many people made the trip? This histogram is representing their weights. But they are not asking us any question about the weights. Just want to know how many of them were there. So let's see. Between 0 and 10, there were 2 students. Between 10 and 20, there were 3 students. Between 30 and 30, there were another 5 students. Between 30 and 40, 6 students. Between 40 and 50, there were 8 students. Between 50 and 60, there were 4 students. And last but not least, between 60 and 70, there was only 1 student. So people have to add these numbers together and I'll be able to get the number of students who made this trip. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5, 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 8 is 24, plus 4 is 28, and plus 1 is 29. And that is option C, implying 29 students made this trip. So you see, histograms, very, very easy. Now we actually have a theoretical question here. Funny enough, yes, in maths, we have a question where we don't even have to solve. This is from the year 2004, question 2. Let's note it. 2004, question 2. It says, we are given different options. Let's see. The first one says, rectangular bars of equal width. Let's just write them here. First one, rectangular bars of equal width. The second one is saying, the height of each rectangular bar is proportional to the frequency of the corresponding class interval. Height of this bar is corresponding to the frequency of the corresponding class interval. And the third one saying, rectangular bars have common sides with no gaps in between. Which of these completely describes a histogram? Well, as you are aware, all three are correct. The rectangular bars are of equal width. Yes. The height of these bars corresponds to the frequency, corresponds to how many they are. Yes. And these bars have no gaps between them. Yes. So my actual answer is 1, 2, and 3. These three properties describe a histogram. And that means my answer is option B. Very easy. Assuming my question was for a bar chart, this was for a bar chart, then only 1 and 2 would be correct, because rectangular bars would still be of equal width and would still represent the frequency, the number of individuals, but they would then have to have spaces between them. So that is the answer to this one. And let's move on. Okay, up next we have a question from the year 2001. This is our fourth question. And from 2001, question number 48. For this one, we have been told that the bar chart above shows different colors of cars passing a particular street or a particular point of a particular street in 2 minutes. What fraction of the total cars is yellow? So we have a bar chart. Several cars are passing. What is the fraction of these cars that is yellow? Very simply, we know that the yellow fraction will be number of yellow over total number. The number of yellow cars over the total number of cars will be the yellow fraction. How many yellow cars were there? Well, on the yellow bar, and yes, this is a bar chart because you can see the gaps between the bars. So for the yellow, we can see that yellow stops at 3, indicating there were 3 yellow cars. While for the total number, well, that would be 3 for yellow, and well, 4 for white, 8 for red, 2 for green, 6 for blue, and last but not least, 2 for black. So 3 over, let's do addition. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 8, 15, plus 2, 17, plus 6, 23, and plus 2 again is 25. And that is option A. So you see, very, very easy. Very, very rudimentary. Next up, we move on to the year 2006. This is from the year 2006, question number 43. Very, very easy as well. In this case, my bar chart is bent that doesn't matter much, doesn't change anything. We have been told that the response for 160 pupils in a school asked to indicate their favorite subject is indicated in the bar chart above. What percentage of the pupils have English and health education as their favorite subjects? When I look at my bar chart, there are 5 subjects there: maths, English, religious knowledge, health education, and arts. I'm being asked what is the percentage of those that choose English and health education, indicating I'm working with percentage of English and health education. Let's go that E. So how many were there for English? For English, you can see the bar chart actually helps me out. It tells me the exact number. It tells me that there are 52 for English. So I don't have to count myself. And that for health education, they are 36. And this would divide. How many students are there in total? I was told that there were 160. So, 1 is the percentage, implying we're going to multiply by 100. 52 plus 36 is 84 over 160 times 100. Well, what do I get? 0 takes care of 0. And without much stress, let's just open our calculator and simply say 84 times 10 divided by 16. And that gives me 52.5%. Well, I do not have decimal place in my option, so I will take my closest answer, which in this case happens to be 52%. Option B. So you see, bar charts, histograms, they all follow the same method and they are all quite simple. I believe we can even solve on that question down here. This one tells me, this is from 2013, question 40 by the way. 2013, question 40. And it tells me, this bar chart, or the bar chart above, shows the allotment of time in minutes per week for selected subjects in a certain school. What is the total time allotted to the 6 subjects per week? As you will, total simply means to add them all together. So what are the different times I have? Well, for my first subject, biology, there's 80 minutes. For English language, there's 160 minutes. For mathematics, there is 200 minutes. For geography, there is also 80 minutes. For chemistry, there is 120 minutes. And last but not least, for physics, well, physics seems to have 1 bar less than biology. Now, this is where the exams get a bit tricky. At times, these diagrams are not as clear as possible. So what do? Well, you take the closest approximation you believe it is and check whether that would be in your answer. So for now, just looking at it, I feel like physics is having the exact same bar as biology. So I also take it as 80 and see what happens. If this is not in my options, I will have to reevaluate. And luckily, my options are far apart. So I'll know that a small difference will not give me a big change in my answer. So let's see the addition. 80 plus 160 is 240, plus 200 is 440, plus 80 is 520, plus 120 is 640, and 640 plus 80 is 720 minutes, which is option A. So you see, again, questions in this topic are very, very, very easy to handle. Okay, let's take one more and we shall call it a day. on this very interesting topic, which is bar charts and histograms. Well, this last question is from the year 2008, and this is question number 42. 2008, question 42. Maybe this is our 7th or 8th question. Well, this time the bar chart shows the number of times the words a, and, in, it, the, and to appear in a book. What is the ratio of the least frequent word to that of the most frequent word? So these are the number of times different words appear in a paragraph in a book. What's the ratio of the one that appears most? Right, of the one that appears least to the one that appears most. So let's see which one appears least and which one appears most. How do we tell? From the frequencies. The one with the smallest frequency appears least, highest frequency appears most. And I can see easily my smallest frequency is and, which appears 2 times, while my highest frequency is the, D. That's one that has the highest frequency, and that frequency is, I can see it zoom in my diagram, I'm looking clearly here, 12. So obviously the ratio required is least to most, and my least is 2, most is 12. Simplify, because obviously this is not my options. 2 into 2 is 1, and 2 into 12 is 6, which is option B. So you see, these are very, very simple and easy to solve. And on this note, we've come to an end of this topic, bar charts and histograms. And as usual, we have to take some questions which you can then try to do on your own. So let's see a couple questions for you to try and practice on. From the year 2022, model 2, and question 10. Also from the year 2005, question number 42. Then also from the year 2011, and still question 42. The year 2003, question 45. The year 2009, question 42. And then last but not least, the year 2021, model 1, question 16. And these questions can all be seen on your AllThreeSchools JAMB app. So do well to get your app, activate it, check out those questions, and try to solve them using the methods we've just learned. Or you can also comment your answers. If your answers are correct, we shall of course let you know. And if they are wrong, we shall try to nudge you in the right direction. You can leave your answers in the comments beneath this video. Also remember to subscribe to this channel so you can get access to many more videos covering various topics in various subjects, which will help you as you prepare for your JAMB. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Athanasius.